Good morning, class 9. Today we will start a new chapter in supplementary reader, The Lost Child. A child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there. But his parents don't buy them for him. Why then does he refuse when someone else offers them to him? Let us see. It was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alleys means narrow streets or passageways. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alleys, a gaily clad humanity emerged. A gaily clad humanity. What does this mean? It means that from the various shades of color, from the various kinds of people who were there in narrow lanes and alleys, in narrow streets, emerged a gaily means a happy clad humanity, a happy human being. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy ran between his father's legs, brimming over with brimming over with life and laughter. Brimming over means he was full of energy, he was full of life. Energy and enthusiasm was overflowing. He was so happy, he was full of life, he was full of laughter. Why? Because he had come to a fair and he was seeing a variety of things which he wanted to buy. "Come, child, come," called his parents, as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shops that lined the way. So, what was the boy doing? When he entered the fair, he saw beautiful toys and various other things which were displayed in the shops, and he was again and again stopping at different shops, and his parents were asking him to move ahead. "Come, child, come." They were asking him to come along with them because he was lagging behind. Why he was lagging behind? Because he was stopping repeatedly at various shops. Some shops were selling toys, various other shops were selling eatables, and he was fascinated by all these things. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call. That means as soon as his parents used to say, "Come, child, come," he used to start moving. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. His eyes were still continuously looking at those toys which he was leaving behind because his parents were calling him to move ahead. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. I am reading this again. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, his parents were again and again stopping at some distance, waiting for the boy to come and cover up the speed. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. So, as soon as the boy was called, he went along with his parents, he went to match with their speed, but he used to look at his parents, although his eyes clearly showed that he was suppressing the desire. What desire? The desire of buying all those interesting things which he was seeing in the fair. And he could see the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. Cold stare. cold stare means the eyes of his parents clearly showed that they are not interested in wasting money in buying all those things which were sold in the fair. Their eyes showed that they were not at all interested in buying any of those things which were sold in the fair. I want that toy, he pleaded. He is requesting his parents, I want that toy. His father looked at him red eyed. Red eyed means he looked at him angrily in his familiar tyrant's way. Tyrant's way here means in his harsh way. His eyes and his face showed that he was angry that the boy was asking him to purchase a toy, and he looked at him angrily. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender and giving him her finger to hold, said, "Look, child, what is before you?" So his mother looked at him tenderly and gave the boy her finger so that the boy could hold her finger, and she told the boy, "Look, child, what is before you?" It was a flowering mustard field. So what was the mother trying to show? The mother wanted the boy to see the mustard field before him. It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melting gold, as gold is gold appeals to the eyes of the people. Similarly, the mustard field was filled with golden flowers, and it looked very beautiful. It was a flowering mustard field. Pale means dull. The color of the mustard flowers was not very bright. It was dull, like gold, like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles of even land. It shows that mustard field was stretched over large pieces of land. As far as he could see, he saw the pale, dull golden color of mustard flowers. A group of dragonflies were bustling about on their gaudy purple wings. A group of dragonflies were bustling about. They were making bustling noise about their gaudy purple wings. Gaudy means dark, bright and dark color. Intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. So, what was the mustard field filled with? The mustard field was filled with dragonflies who were making noise, who were bustling, and their gaudy purple wings were looking very bright, they were looking very attractive, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee. Intercepting here means stopping. The dragonflies were stopping the lone means alone. There was one black bee, or there were butterflies, and they were being stopped by the dragonflies. Stopped from doing what? Stopped from sucking nectar of the flowers. The dragonflies did not allow the black bee and the butterflies to suck nectar from the flowers, and they were intercepting their way. They were stopping them from sitting on the flowers. The child followed them in the air with his gaze. The child followed them in the air with his gaze. That means the child was looking at these dragonflies continuously, till one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch them. The child was even fascinated by these dragonflies, and he wanted to catch them. But it would go fluttering. Could the boy catch? No. Flapping up into the air. When he had almost caught it, in his hands. Then his mother gave a cautionary call. Cautionary means alarming call, a call giving him a warning. Come, child, come. Come onto the footpath. As soon as he was about to catch a dragonfly, his mother called him, come, child, come. Come on to the footpath. He ran towards his parents gaily. Again, he cheerfully, gaily means cheerfully, ran towards his parents and walked abreast of them. Walked abreast of them means he walked side by side. He walked by the side of his parents. Walked abreast of them for a while, being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. I am reading this again. He was trying to walk along with his parents, but he was soon left behind, attracted by the little worms and insects along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. The worms were coming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine, and this boy, this little boy, was attracted looking at the insects and worms. Come, child, come, his parents called from the shade of a grove. Grove is the place where there are number of trees. Come, child, come, his parents called from the shade of a grove where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. He ran towards them. So after walking for some time, his parents took rest under the shade of a tree, and they called the boy also. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, as he entered that part where there were many shady trees, and he sat under the shade of the tree. Young flowers fell upon him. And forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. But lo here is used to draw attention to something. Draw is a term used here by the writer to draw attention towards something. He heard the cooing of doves. Who heard? While the boy was collecting the petals which were falling from the trees, he heard the cooing of the doves. Doves are birds, white color birds. And ran towards his parents shouting, the dove, the dove. The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. He forgot that he was collecting petals, and when he saw the doves, he was greatly fascinated at that sight. Come, child, come, they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers. Wild capers means wild flower beds. Those areas which were covered with flowers everywhere, those are here called as capers. Who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree. There was a banyan tree, and all around the banyan tree there were wild flowers. And gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard field. So what were these people doing? The parents and the child, they took the child with them, and they kept on moving in that narrow path which led through the mustard field. Finally, where they were going? They were going to the fair. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs converging to the whirlpool of the fair. Now see children, many meanings are there which you must know. I am telling the meanings. I hope you are writing them. Throngs. Throngs means crowds of people. Crowds of people. Converging. Converging here means came closer. Came closer. Whirlpool, compared to a bathtub. That means, like in a bathtub, people come together to take a bath. Similarly, it was a whirlpool of fair. That means thousands of people had gathered here to attend the fair. I am reading this para once more. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs. He could see various footpaths filled with people converging to the whirlpool of the fair. That means they were coming closer and closer to the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Now he was even more interested, because he was fascinated when he saw so much of confusion, because thousands of people had come to attend this fair. So there was a lot of confusion in this new world where he was entering. A sweetmeat seller hawked gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets. So, as he entered the fair, he saw a sweetmeat seller who was selling gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets decorated with leaves of silver and gold. This shows that at this shop there was a crowd of people, because there was a display. Architecture here means a display of various colored sweets. The child stared open-eyed, and his mouth watered for the barfi that was his favorite sweet. I want that barfi, he slowly murmured. But he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded, because his parents would say he was greedy. Now look at this poor child. He wanted the barfi. He requested also. He slowly requested that I want the barfi. But he knew very well that his plea means request. He was sure that his request would be denied, because his parents would say that he was greedy. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. A flower seller hawked. Now, the next which he saw was a flower seller. A garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He was now very much attracted by the garlands of gulmohar. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped, and half murmured. Half murmured means he spoke very softly. I want that garland. But he well knew that his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers, because they would say that they were cheap. They would not purchase the flowers also. They would give the reason that they were cheap. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, and purple balloons flying from it. Now, the next he saw was a man who was holding a pole in his hand, and various colored balloons were flying. They were tied to this pole. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors. Rainbow glory. Why it is called a rainbow glory? Because as rainbow has several colors, similarly the pole which this man was holding had several colored balloons attached to it. And the boy was greatly fascinated. He was attracted by the beauty of the colored balloons. And he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. Overwhelming desire. He had an intense desire to purchase all these beautiful colored balloons. But he knew his parents would never buy him the balloons, because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on farther. He walked ahead. Now, next, what did he see? A snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket, its head raised in a graceful bend like the neck of a swan, while the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. So, what did he see next? A snake charmer was playing the flute to a snake who had coiled itself in its basket, and the head of the snake was raised in the same way as the head of the the neck of the swan is raised. Swan's head, the neck is always straight and erect. In the same way, the neck of this snake was also raised erect, and the music which the snake charmer was making with its flute was as distinct as the waterfall. When water falls from a waterfall, a particular distinct sound is created. Similarly, a sound was created, a sound was made by the snake charmer while he was playing this flute. But knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded farther. Why did he proceed? Why he did not stop? Because his parents had advised him not to listen to such hoarse music, not to listen to such loud music. There was a roundabout. Now, next thing he saw was a swing, a roundabout, which was moving in full swing, in full speed. Men, women, and children, carried away in a rilling motion, shrieked. That means they were making sharp noises, they were shouting loudly, and cried with dizzy laughter. Dizzy here means light-headed. They were just enjoying this ride in the roundabout. The child watched them intently, and then he made a bold request. I want to go on the roundabout. Please, father, mother. There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there ahead of him. Now, the boy was so upset and he was so frightened. Why? Because when he turned around, he saw that his parents were nowhere. They were nowhere to be found. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there ahead of him. He turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. So, neither his parents were behind him, nor in front of him, neither by his side, and he was lost in the fair. A full, deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in real fear, Mother, father. Now you can well imagine a small child lost in the fair where thousands of people have gathered and he is not able to find his parents. You can well imagine his situation at this time. Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. His flushed face, flush means red. His flushed face was convulsed with fear. His face was filled with fear. Panic stricken, he ran to one side first, then to the other, hither and thither. Hither and thither means here and there. He was running here and there. He was filled with fear. He was filled with panic because his parents were nowhere to be seen and he was lost. He wailed, he cried. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes became muddy. Having run to and fro in a rage of running for a while, he stood defeated, his cries suppressed to sobs. Earlier he was crying very loudly, but gradually he cried softly. At little distances on the green grass, he could see through his filmy eyes. Filmy here means hazy eyes. Why hazy? Because his eyes were filled with tears. Through his filmy eyes, men and women talking. What could he see everywhere? People were talking to each other in the fair. He tried to look intently among the patches of bright yellow clothes. He tried to look intently among the patches of bright yellow clothes, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people. Intently here means he was trying to focus his attention on all those people who were wearing bright color yellow clothes, so that if he could recognize that his father and mother were there, but he could not see them anywhere. But there was no sign of his father and mother among these people, who seemed to laugh and talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine. Shrine means temple. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. He went to a temple where people were crowding. Why he went to the temple? Because he thought maybe his parents were inside the temple. Every little inch of space here was congested with men. He ran through people's legs, his little sob lingering. Mother, father. Near the entrance to the temple, however, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other. Jostled each other means they were pushing each other because they wanted to get inside the temple. Heavy men with flashing, murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. Heavy shoulders. Hefty means heavy. The poor child struggled to thrust away, to make his way between their feet, but knocked to and fro by their brutal movements, he might have been trampled underfoot, and had he not shrieked at the highest pitch of his voice, father, mother. So you can imagine how much rush was there at the entrance of this temple, that men were pushing each other, they were falling on each other, they were crowding, and this little boy could have been trampled had he not shouted loudly, Father, Mother. A man in the surging crowd heard his cry and, stooping with great difficulty, lifted him up in his arms. Now, among that crowd, a man heard the cry of this boy and lifted the boy in his arms. How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked as he steered clear of the mass, as he came out of that crowd. Steered clear of the mass means as the man brought that little child out of that crowd, he asked him, how did you come here? Whose baby are you? The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, I want my mother, I want my father. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. Will you have a ride on that horse? He gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into 1,000 shrill sobs, and he only shouted, I want my mother, I want my father. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. Listen to that nice music, child, he pleaded. But the child shut his ears with his fingers and shouted his double-pitched strain, I want my mother, I want my father. The man took him near the balloons, thinking the bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. Would you like a rainbow-colored balloon? He persuasively asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller sat. Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? would you like a garland to put round your neck? The child turned his nose from the basket and reiterated. Reiterated means he again repeated his sob, I want my mother, I want my father. Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge. Disconsolate means beyond consolation. Beyond consolation means something which was not lessening or reducing the suffering of the child. Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. What sweets would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. So we have seen that earlier all those things were greatly demanded by the child when his parents were with him. When he was enjoying the fair along with his parents, he wanted the garland also, he wanted the sweets also, he was fascinated by the snake charmer's music, he wanted to ride on the roundabout. But once he was lost in the fair, once he was separated from his father and mother, he wanted nothing. He wanted no rainbow colored balloons. He did not want sweets. He did not want the garland. He did not want to ride in the roundabout, or he did not like the music of the snake charmer. Nothing could please him. Nothing could attract him. Nothing could make him quiet. So he just wanted one thing. He did not want anything in the world. He just wanted his father and his mother. So the story continued. The second half of the story, in the story we have seen that the child is continuing to cry. He just wants his father and his mother back with him. So with this note, the story comes to an end. Read the story once again and try to understand it properly. Thank you.